This is Steve Cochran, and welcome again to Live from My Office. Thank you for listening, and wherever you do listen, please subscribe. You can do that just by hitting the subscribe or the follow button on any podcast platform, wherever you are right now. Maybe you've already done it. If you have, thank you. I'm getting a lot of email at thecochranshow@gmail.com, and there's been a glut of email lately that's saying, Steve, and then I say, what? They say, why do you sound muffled? I said, well, it's simple. I'm wearing a mask. We all got to wear a mask. It's simple. It's an easy thing to do. I'm wearing a mask even while I'm alone in my own office because I don't know where I've been, and you can't be too careful. So, look, this year has been a backbreaker, and wouldn't it be great if you could wake up one morning this year and take a look at the internet, and all you'd see in big block letters is everything's fine, nothing to worry about. So today on Live from My Office, enough with the bad news. We're going to have some laughs. I got three of my favorite people here. Paul Coyte, live from London. Paul will join us. Mark Decarlo, live from Los Angeles. Actor, comedian, producer, director. All got to be a front for laundering money, don't you think? Mark Decarlo will be here. My friend John Cosse. John Cosse will be here as well. The musical director of the Steve Cochran Show. He is hilarious and he's musical, and I tuned him up just before the show. That's all today because we're getting away from the bad news and we're going to have a few laughs on Live from My Office. As always, presented by Team Hochberg and David Hochberg. Boy, I tell you, you got to go to 855-56-DAVID or 56david.com and talk to those folks about the incredible rates on a new mortgage or a refi. It's all right there, and Hochberg's ready to help you. A little later on in the program, I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite charities. We do those charitable organizations on every show as well. And here's another invite. If you have a charitable cause that you'd like me to talk about, drop me a note and explain what you do with contact information, again, at thecochranshow@gmail.com. Check out our website at cochranshow.com anytime for old programs, new programs, and stuff I'm thinking about. All right, I think we're up to date. Let's take a break and come back with John Cosse next on Live from My Office. I'd like to personally thank presenting sponsor of Live from My Office, David Hochberg, and the folks at Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Look, he's passionate about helping listeners, and he's done it for years and years and years, and I trust him with my own family. My sister has done 2 refis with David. My daughter is about to do her refi on her first home with David. And also that ne'er-do-well, that drifter from town to town that, you know, John Cosse from the Steve Cochran Show. He helped John and his family enhance his credit, refinance a previous home, secure the financing on his new home. Point being, if I'm kicking all of the people I care about to David Hochberg, well, then I think you can trust him. You can trust what I'm talking about. I've had great experiences. Is he loud? Of course he's loud, but he's loud because he cares. Here's how you get started. Go to 855-56-DAVID. That's the phone number. Pick up the phone and call him and talk to him. The website is 56david.com. You can refinance to pay off debt that you might have. You can ask about your student loan situation, reverse mortgages to help you or your parents with housing challenges, buying a new home. Again, the bottom line is this. I trust him. And I think you should too. Just don't let him in your house for too long. It's David Hochberg and the great team he's assembled at Team Hochberg, presenting sponsors of Live from My Office. Well, on Live from My Office, it is just great to have one of my best friends in the world, and I have, 3 or 4, here with me. And that, of course, is the musical director of the show, John Cosse. Hello, John.
Hello, Steve.
Nice.
This is awesome.
Nice to have you here. And, John, you serve the purpose on this show in one way, sort of like Regis did for David Letterman. And that is, if I ever need a guest, I know I can count on you because since we started this back in March, you've just been on hold waiting for me. Is that right?
I haven't actually left my little office in the house. I see that name pop up and I'm like, here we go. It's go time.
So that's great. So just know that whenever you're listening to Live from My Office at any point, I could just go, John, and you'd be there. And you'd be
I'm
there.
there.
Yeah, you'd be there.
I told my wife, I can't remember if this is before we signed the papers, but I told her, I said, listen, whatever Steve wants is going to happen. I don't care what's going on. I got to take the call.
Right.
I got to go.
Right. And that includes family illness. The house could be on fire, whatever.
Oh, yeah. And remember when you called me in the hospital? I was in there for like 4 days. I was internal bleeding. What did we do? 3 shows that week?
Yeah. And the weird part, several wardrobe changes for you, and it was all different gowns.
That's exactly right.
So,
and it was very difficult to find those. But thank you. You know what I like to call all of this for me?
What is it?
This is one Cochran moment.
You know what? I think that works. And I can almost remember a song that sounded like that. All right. Now, listen, I want to take care of you for this, and I probably shouldn't discuss this publicly, but I want people to think I'm a really good guy. So I noticed today a couple of interesting things that I think are right up your alley, starting with the musical side. There is a Lego set with 3,622 pieces that makes a miniature grand piano that you can actually play, made entirely out of Lego parts. How cool is that?
It's not really cool. I just wrote a song for that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. 3,622 Lego pieces.
Yeah, it's vaguely familiar, but I like it. Now,
I think it's original.
Let's do a little Let's Make a Deal. You can either have that or this is on Amazon. And, anytime I can kick a little money to Jeff Bezos, I think it's good. But on Amazon, you can actually get a do-it-yourself house kit. They will send you the parts to a house, and then it says 2 adults can assemble this in 1 week's time. It includes a loft, obviously all the instructions you need. We're down 1 hex nut. And it's a 540 square foot house. So I'm going to say it's not huge. One of them tiny houses, basically.
Right.
But I'd love to see how pissed off the Amazon driver is when he drops this off. And
What's the delivery? Is it free delivery?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We got to be Prime. And the Porch Pirates have a lot of trouble stealing this. But it's $32,990, but it's small enough. I mean, you and Jackie have this beautiful new home, but you got a good sized lot there. And you could have this in the backyard as your go-to place when Jackie's tired of you.
I can tell you this when we moved into this house in December, I specifically told Jackie, because of all we've done in the past, I've lived my life at IKEA. I've put things together.
Sure.
My goal from going forward is that I don't want to ever put anything together.
All right, so what I'm hearing, and I could be wrong, but what I'm hearing is you're going for the Lego grand piano.
I'm going for the Lego grand, and it's music related. Why wouldn't I do that?
Now, there's 3,622 pieces, but it might be more fun because, the end game is what you really want.
Well, wait a minute. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I could get both because I could put that piano inside the tiny home.
It is the scale, isn't it?
It is. So I need a place for that.
Well, let's see how it goes with your contribution down the road and possibly both. But we'll start with the Lego grand piano. And maybe next time you're on, you could play it.
Yeah, that would hold me, right?
There's no question. Yeah, there's no question. It's a Lego bench. I haven't seen an actual capacity number, but why look that up?
I'm trying to think if my son can tune that.
Now, in honor of the fact that, we talked about Amazon and Jeff Bezos, I have one other thing before we get on with the show. Sure. And that is, and get on with the show means put you back on hold. Right. There is a story that popped about, I don't know, maybe a week ago, where all of these incredible geniuses, these entrepreneurs, the starters of the world's great companies, how much sleep they get every night. Now, how much sleep do you get? For real?
For real?
Yeah.
I'm good for about 7.
Yeah, see, I get set now. I'm not doing the morning show anymore. It's a totally different thing. I get 7 in a night and a half. I'm a 5-hour guy, maybe 6.
Yeah, you've always been that way. That's weird.
Which is why I look so fresh.
Right.
So I will give you the entrepreneur, the genius, the world changer, and then you tell me how long they sleep, according to this story. And let's start with Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. How long does Mark Zuckerberg sleep?
Oh, boy. Well, he hasn't really done. He gets a lot of credit for what other people did. So I'm going to say 11 hours.
11 hours. See, I think it depends. If you've seen any pictures of him lately with that haircut and that face, I think it depends on his home planet. I think, he's got to wait for instructions from his home planet, and those probably come in various hours. Zuckerberg says he sleeps 5 hours a night. 5 hours a night.
So Zuckerberg and you sleep the same.
Yeah, but not together. I think that's an important distinction.
I got to cross that out. I got to cross that out now.
All right. How about the guy that founded Tesla? And he's a rocket engineer, entrepreneur. He's got this tunnel system that he put into Southern California that he's working on. It's Elon Musk. Yeah. How long does he sleep?
Well, I'm going to probably similar to the way the car works. He sleeps for about 300 miles, and then
and you got to plug him in.
Pretty much, recharges batteries. So
that sounds much more logical. 6 hours.
I'll go back to 7 hours.
Not 6 hours. 6 hours for Elon Musk.
Oh, wow. All right.
Let's see. Bill Gates. How long?
Imagine if he slept 7. Imagine
all the things he could do. So much more energy.
Yeah.
What about Bill Gates or Warren Buffett? Either one of those.
Warren Buffett passed away, so
No,
he didn't.
No. He's still alive.
Oh, are you okay?
Once again, Warren Buffett is still alive.
Okay, Warren Buffett is still alive. Then my guess is he sleeps. Well, he's got to take naps. Then you got the nighttime. So I'm going to say probably 21 hours.
Warren Buffett gets an 8-hour sleep every single night. Bill Gates is, in charge. He
passed away too, right?
No, he's not dead either. Bill Gates is in charge of the foundation. He hasn't run Microsoft for years. Bill Gates gets 7 hours. But when you talk about the world's great leaders and thinkers, of course, you're probably saying, "Hey, Steve," and then I'll say, "What?" You want to know how long Donald Trump says he sleeps, don't you?
Oh, yes. When you're talking about these great people, yeah.
Donald Trump says he sleeps. Does that sound like a drum roll, or is it more like a tiny squirrel looking for a nut running around your tiny house?
I thought you were writing figures down with a number 2 pencil, I'll be honest with
you. Donald Trump says he sleeps 3 hours a night. Because he's got to do more than other people. Yeah.
Well, but see, it's a misrepresentation because he's got to. I'm sure he falls asleep in the tanning booth.
Well, I hope so with that look.
He's not counting that as 3 hours. So you got to add the tanning booth. That's 4 hours a day.
Right.
And then what else does he do?
Well, when I look, I did some research. I looked up online, and what do you search, right? And I searched, how long does an asshat sleep every single night? And it turned out 3 hours. So it looks like he's telling the truth.
For the first time ever.
Right. It is a new thing to him, and it threw him completely. Well, John DeCosse, I'm going to let you set the phone down, but don't go far because you never know when we're going to need you. And thanks for being our number one go-to guest, always delivering the mail, always there when I need you on Live from My Office. You have any final thoughts?
3,622 pieces of...
Good luck with that. It should be arriving.
Thank you. I'm working it.
It should be arriving any minute now as we continue on.
I'm here when you need me, Steve.
I do know that. As we continue on Live from My Office. This episode of the podcast, of course, will live at CochranShow.com and on your podcast platform. So if your friends missed out on it, get them to subscribe and they can hear what you just heard. And again, I'm glad you're here on Live from My Office, presented by Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Look, David Hochberg is loud. David Hochberg is emotional. David Hochberg has a passion for helping you and helping me. How do I know that? Because he did. We did a home equity loan on our home, and he did the home equity loan because I trust him. That's the thing. All those years on the radio, I wasn't just talking about products. I was talking about products I spent money on or that I put faith in people on. And there's nobody I have more faith in than David Hochberg. I recommended that my daughter work with David Hochberg. He did. He got her mortgage for her first home, and she's thrilled and had a great experience. My sister just did her second home refi with David Hochberg. Look, he's good, and so is his team. And it's important that you know that you need somebody more knowledgeable, but also somebody that actually really cares about your outcome. And the local loan officer at the bank, I'm sure he's a swell guy, but that's not the same deal. Nor is Bob's House of Mortgages down the road. You need somebody that's the best in the business, and that's David Hochberg. Call him up at 855-56-DAVID. Go to 56david.com. You can refinance to pay off debt. You can do a reverse mortgage and find out all about reverse mortgages. Who are you going to call? Tom Selleck at his house? He's memorizing a script. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's bigger than I am, and he could probably still kill me with his bare hands, so don't tell him I said that. It's Team Hochberg, David Hochberg. I trust him. You can too. Whether you're purchasing a new home or just need help figuring out your money, you need Team Hochberg and David Hochberg. Let me give you the contact again. It's 855-56-DAVID or 56david.com. It's always a pleasure to talk to my friend Paul Coyte here on Live from my office. Paul, you and I were talking the other day about how long we've known each other. Is it 30 years?
Yes. Yeah, it's over 30 years.
And you think about all the people through the years, listeners who have told us they're really not fans and they're sick of us and they don't like us, and yet we have found a way to get along for 30 years.
It's probably because we live about 4,000 miles apart from each other. Do you reckon that's what it is? Could that be it? Do you reckon that's how we managed to... it's the distance that makes the heart grow fonder. Is that right? I think it is something like that. So maybe that's what it is. Although even if I lived next door to you, we would still be best friends.
We absolutely would be, and you'd always be welcome in my garage.
Bless you. Thank you so much. Is it a big garage? Well, you would say garage, and we would say garage. So that's the difference. Already we'll be disagreeing about what it's called. Let alone
but you bring up a good point. We shouldn't disagree. There are so many things about our two countries, especially in this time of need where we're both being run by just absolute lunatics. Where we should get along. So let's try to bridge the gap a little bit. Would you explain why Brits apologize so much?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's just we don't even know how far this goes back, but it's just within us. It's just within us. As I think it was Winston Churchill that said that we are two similar countries divided by a common language. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah.
But we do. Well, I'm sorry to say this, but we do enjoy an apology, although you'll find there is a new breed of Brit who doesn't apologize quite so much. And quite frankly, I know the world is changing, but as far as apologies go, I'm sorry to say this to them, but they need to apologize a little more often and be sorry for whatever they've done or whatever they haven't done, because that's what we do. I'm sorry, but, for example, if you're in a restaurant or you get bad service or something bad happens, you always begin with, I'm sorry, but. So I don't really know why we say sorry and why we say but. There's not even any point saying sorry, but that's what we do. So I'm sorry to say that, but that's how it is.
So you're apologizing for explaining why you apologize.
Yes, I'm very sorry. Absolutely.
You mentioned eating at restaurants. There's some real differences there, too. And these are things that I'm told drive Brits nuts. About Americans and about Americans eating out. One of which is talking to strangers. We might turn to another table and just talk, or we might be in an elevator and we'll just strike up a conversation. Does that throw you?
Really?
Because I've been told that Brits don't like to just talk to random strangers.
No, we don't. We are a bit reserved on that. You've been on the London Underground.
Uh-huh.
So the London Underground is
it's a subway, kids.
Exactly. Whereas now it's a place where most people have masks on and sit well apart from each other. But if you are on the tube, as we would call it, if you're on the London Underground, you're in rush hour, the place is completely packed. If anybody, and I'm a friendly chap, I'll be happy to speak to anybody and I'll enjoy speaking, happy to chat. that if someone actually said something and looked over and said, "Oh, so how are you?" you would go, "They're going to either kill me, they are in love with me, they want to steal something from me. Why would they say that?" Or they do it, or just say, "Morning, how are you?" And you're thinking, "Why are they asking me that?" And so the answer you would probably get is, "Fine, thanks." So you would be suspicious. And really, I like people that would say hello to each other, but even I would be suspicious if someone said something.
Well, and you went through this. You saw this when we met in New York City a couple of summers ago, when people heard your accent, knew you were from another country, and they started apologizing for Donald Trump.
That's absolutely right. And also, I remember being on the subway in New York and you saying, "Hold on, you people here that started speaking to you." So it's changing in New York, whereas you would always say, we would think of New Yorkers as not being the most friendly people, but we found them delightful. And we're on the train there, and people are just striking up a conversation. Whereas other New Yorkers were feeling uncomfortable by this. I, being a Londoner, was feeling even more uncomfortable by this. So it was just a very strange situation.
So recount
something that we should do more of.
Recount one of those circumstances where a New Yorker apologized for our president.
It happened, you know, and this is the absolute truth. It must have happened in the space of time we were in New York, around a week or so in New York. It must have happened 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. We are walking down the street. We are just walking along, and all of a sudden, I remember there was a couple, and this is all different demographics. It's not just youngsters. These I remember women who are in their 50s. So as far as you and I could say, young ladies were stopped me and just said, "Listen, I heard your accent. I just want to say, I'm really sorry about Donald Trump. We're really sorry about. Please don't think we're all like him. We don't." And it's like, listen, it's fine. It's okay. And also the other thing that I found really uncomfortable, Steve, is that I was not the one apologizing. So I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry."
Sure.
And they said, "What are you apologizing for?" I said, "Well, I'm British, so I'm sorry." But they were actually apologizing for us, thinking that your president was giving your country a bad name. Steve, as if. I mean, really. Now, how ridiculous.
Now, there are, of course, many things that are cultural differences. And Paul, we've fallen into something here. We're trying to bring us closer together, which I guess we do. I guess we do quite regularly. But here's another thing I'm told that drives Brits crazy about Americans, and that's we love to eat breakfast together. We love to get together and have breakfast and just talk and have breakfast and all of that. And I'm told that the only time Brits really eat breakfast is if they're trying to get over a hangover. Is that true?
No, I think that's a little unfair. I will put my hands up and say it's a little unfair. Often because we're too busy to have breakfast. We love the idea of breakfast. I mean, we're very well known for our full English breakfast. They call it the full English, which is probably the most unhealthy plate of food you could possibly eat, but one of the tastiest. You would have fried eggs. See, we don't go for all the sunny side up, over easy. You just say fried eggs. How do you want your eggs? You're fried or scrambled or poached, and that's it. Fried, sunny side up. It's almost like an extra thing which is added. So when we're over in your country, it's just like a luxury. It's just like, what you'll actually do that for me? You'll actually think of turning the eggs over, whereas normally we wouldn't have that. So we would have that. We would have sausage. Now, sausages. What is the shape of a sausage? You would have.
You could either have you could have a link or a patty. In either case, patties generally are with.
That's a hamburger for us. That confuses things.
You should have a link.
A link. See, a link. If you ask for a link over here, nobody would know what on earth you're talking about. A sausage is a big. See, your links, they're little fellas, aren't they? Just little things.
Yeah.
What would you say? Ours are big versions of those. One big sausage. So that's a sausage, and there's no other, because if it's a patty, that would be a beef burger or a hamburger, and that would throw us completely. So you have your big sausage. Yeah, but baked beans. Do people eat baked beans over there?
Yeah, I don't, but others do.
Baked beans still, it's one of the most important foods in this country, is baked beans. So you'd have baked beans on there, and also you would have bacon, which you have far too crispy. You burn it with an inch. See, your bacon over there has to snap in half. Is that fair?
Yeah, I've noticed as Brits in bacon, you just apply a slight bit of heat to it, and then you start eating it. We like to cook it.
It's got to move. It's got to move around. You can't just have something that's gonna. It's got to something you can stick your fork in. You can't have a bit of bacon and you actually have to pick up with your fingers or use a spoon. That's never going to be a piece of bacon. And the other thing, and the thing for real connoisseurs of the full English is black pudding. Now, are you familiar with black pudding?
Black pudding to me sounds like something you would use in some sort of, like a Bond film. If you were torturing someone, you'd make them eat black pudding.
You know what? You're probably not far off. But it is actually, it's not bad. It's a bit weird, just to prepare anybody for black pudding. And it's pretty much pigs in it, I believe is what it is. It looks like a large black sausage, and then you slice it, and then I think it's bits of pig.
And it's just goo, right? It's just goo at that point?
It's not really gooey. No, it's quite full. You can chew it, and it's quite tasty. But the idea of it's a bit like haggis. You know, you really don't know what's in there. And if you do, you know, it's the stuff that you would never, ever choose.
Well, why is it called pudding? Because pudding in America is something that's soft. It's almost a consistency of like ice cream or something like that, melted ice cream.
A pudding is a dessert, is right? It's a dessert.
Yeah.
Whereas pudding could be anything. You could have any sort of, you could have a meat pudding, which is a very suety situation. There's lots of different puddings, and I didn't expect that.
It's just wrong.
But I am enjoying discussing puddings. You can have a Yorkshire pudding, which is a very
that is popular here. Sure, that's popular here.
Of our Sunday dinner.
Yeah, people like a Yorkshire pudding.
But what do you eat a Yorkshire pudding with there?
Generally a big turkey dinner. And I know how much head scratching and confusion our love of turkey creates there. You just go, what? What's with the turkey? It's just, stop it.
No, that's what we do at Christmas. We have turkey. Turkey is a Christmas thing.
Right, but you do it once a year. We eat turkey every day.
Do you really?
Oh, yes.
So what's with you and the turkey?
All right, now here's another thing I'm told Brits don't understand about America, and that's that we floss our teeth. It's like, what are you putting between your teeth?
Yeah, see, that's pretty impressive. Probably a toothbrush once a week or so is what we use for doing that. So yeah, that's what we would use in between our teeth.
All right, now I find British folks incredibly attractive. You certainly one of them.
Yes,
but in the meantime, it is a giant cliche that seems to be proven out. You drink tea with tons of milk and sugar and all of the things, and you're not flossing. Why not fix your teeth? What's going on with Brits and their teeth?
Well, our teeth are getting better. There is no question. We are having better teeth now.
So you're in a dentist boom.
There is a boom in dentists, and there's a boom in teeth whitener, which for me is just I really am not getting. It's just like it's just ridiculous. The white teeth that you find everywhere. So there's that, and also we do take care. We do have a bad reputation, I know, for bad teeth, but that is probably the teeth stains on the teeth. There was I don't know if you saw this. Now I don't know whether this was fake, but there was a woman on social media who is from your country. I'm sorry, but she is. And was giving everybody advice on how to make the perfect cup of English tea. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know whether this was just to rile us, but there's a chance that we could have gone to war with you over this. So there's this woman, it's hilarious. And she's gone, so this is what you do. You get a tea bag, then you put water, and then you fill it up with milk, and then you have 5 spoons of sugar, then you put it in the microwave, and all of us were aghast at what we were seeing. And she's going, and that's how Brits like to drink their tea. And I really can't think of anything more disgusting than what I saw. She had no idea. So, I don't know whether you can throw out the country or have a quiet word.
You don't want any advice from us on how to drink tea. You invented drinking tea. We don't need to be telling you how to drink tea.
If it's correct, I don't mind. But
this sounds to me like the only
nonsense.
The only 2 times I've ever really seen you angry is now. And when you watch Mary Poppins and hear Dick Van Dyke's accent, those are the 2 things that seem to set you off.
Staples, an old English Cockney accent and a cup of tea. Anything that's messed around with, and I'm sorry, by anybody, not even, I'm not singling you out, your wonderful country, but anybody that not messes around with that is going to make me angry. So you have a cup of tea, you make, you put your tea bag in the cup, fill it up with hot water, give it a little push, give it a couple of minutes, pull it out, little drop of milk on the top, maybe a little bit of sugar, and that's it. All this pouring in the sugar. People think that we have, you have a pint of milk in it. We don't. We just have a little bit just to take the color away. And it's you've enjoyed tea.
Yeah. Listen, I don't drink coffee, and coffee is huge here. Everybody drinks coffee. As a matter of fact, it's me.
I love coffee too.
It's me and one other guy that doesn't drink coffee. That's it. But tea consumption here is on the rise. And high-end tea shops where you can go and sit and enjoy a cup of tea with your friends, that's also on the rise. But I don't think people are making tea at home as much because you have tea at home 7 days a week, right?
I have tea at home. I have coffee when I'm out. I get up in the morning, I have a cup of tea, I have a cup of tea during the day, and I have a cup of tea before I go to bed. And that's tea. Tea for me is at home. The thought of drinking tea out of the home, I've got to say, is abhorrent, personally. I can't imagine doing such a thing. It's just madness. Tea is a home thing. It's just like walking around in your pajamas at work. You wouldn't do it, but you feel comfortable at home doing it. So that's what I feel about a cup of tea.
How about the irony that the tea was really a big part of our first war, and now you seem to be indicating that tea could start this war? The next one that we're going to have.
What are the chances? What are the chances?
I know,
it comes full circle.
I know we're out of time. We have more work to do in bringing the countries together. But one other thing I noticed from a number of lists that I saw is Americans don't understand why Brits can't seem to say how they really feel. You dance around. It's sort of the apology thing or whatever. So as we come to the end of this conversation, and obviously we'll talk again. This is Paul Coyte. My London correspondent here on Live from My Office, my friend forever. How do you feel about what we did here today?
I feel it went rather well. I think it went quite good. I think so.
Yeah.
I think it went awfully well, awfully. But it was all about you. I'm sorry if I didn't live up to expectations, but I could always do better, but I could also have done a lot worse.
What if I were to say I wasn't
you're happy? I'm happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if I were to say I wasn't so thrilled with it? Even though I am, if I were to say I wasn't so thrilled with it, would that change your reaction?
I could go one of two ways. See, this is the thing. It's just like poking a Brit with a stick. We'll take it so much, but if it just goes in the wrong place at the right time, we will explode. And you don't want to see that. No. It's pretty much like Bill Bixby in The Incredible Hulk. It's kind of like that. You don't ever want to poke the bear. Don't poke the bear, whatever you do. We're lovely up to a point. We'll apologize to a point, and then when it goes over, then we'll go completely in the other direction. It happens once in every Brit's lifetime. And 53 years on, I'm due for one. Trust me.
Yeah, well, that's
if I see that tea thing again, it's on its way.
That's my friend Paul Coyte, and here on Live from My Office, we'll do this again. I feel each time we do this, we bring our nations together in troubled times. Bless the Brits. God save the Queen.
And don't poke the bear.
And don't poke the bear. Each episode of Live from My Office features an opportunity to tell you about a great charitable organization that I have spent time helping out in the past. And one of my favorites is Rags of Honor. My friend Mark Doyle has dedicated all of his money. He's completely flat broken, busted now. All of his money and a lot of time to help homeless vets get back on their feet and achieve their dreams. No vet should be homeless in this country. You know that. They also battle the scourge of suicides among veterans, and the numbers there are unbelievable. They sell coffee they've got a separate company, Veterans Roasters, which makes coffee and sells it to everybody. I mean, they're just doing great things. But let me talk about Rags for a second. Still the only apparel company devoted to hiring homeless and at-risk veterans and helping them turn their life around. Every product made in America and printed by veterans. The deal is I have spent my own money on Rags of Honor gear And I highly recommend you do the same. Again, all products made in America. Oh, and they're doing a cool thing now. They've got Masks of Honor, MASKS, Mask of Honor, the latest creation of Rags of Honor. The masks are made in America. They're two-ply cotton. They're available at local Walmarts or online at Mask of Honor. I'm sorry, get the S in there. And they're available online at Masks of Honor, MASKS of Honor, .us. All the proceeds go to helping struggling veterans. As always, that's the mission, and that's what they're doing, and good for them. Ragsofhonor.us and masksofhonor.us. I hope you'll consider helping these fine people out here in 2020 because they could use a hand. This is live from my office. Welcome back, and I now welcome in one of the greatest people on the planet, a really good friend, and all sincerity, all jokes aside for the moment, it's Mark Decarlo. Hello, buddy.
Steve Cochran, I've missed you so. How are you?
I've missed you as well in this crazy year. We've only talked a couple of times because who knows if the COVID, it's called the COVID, if the COVID will come down the phone and get me.
You have that there in Chicago, too? Because we have it here. Here in L.A., we have the COVID.
I'll tell you a funny story. You know and love Kathleen Madigan like I do. And
Yes.
Kathleen was driving through Kentucky. She apparently lost a bet. And she goes into a convenience store and she's wearing a mask. And the woman at the counter couldn't have been nicer, but she said, "Oh, honey, you don't need to wear a mask because that coronavirus never got to Kentucky." And I would argue it did, and we found a new symptom.
Oh, my God. You couldn't, if you had written this movie script 3 years ago, you would have been laughed out of every office in Hollywood saying it's just too ridiculous.
Yeah, no one will believe it.
No, it's in what is it? Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where the thing gets into people's brains and turns them into zombies.
Mm-hmm.
It's we would be doing better if people were eating brains.
Well, but you got a movie to plug and a couple other things. But before we get to that, because you're a very smart guy, you're not just a handsome show business legend. But Mark,
I am a handsome show business legend. Let's not forget that.
That's true. We could combine the two and save time. But here's the thing I'm wondering. Are people in L.A., 1/3 of the people in L.A., as ridiculous as 1/3 of the people in the rest of the country are? And that may be a high number, but I'm talking about the people who refuse to wear masks. How much of that do you have in Southern California?
There's more than I would have thought. I live up in Hollywood, and it's a pretty liberal place,
sure.
I guess.
You actually live in the sign, right? You sleep in the O?
First O, yes.
Of the Hollywood sign? Yeah,
First O, which is that's the O you want. You don't want to be in the double O because there's tons of kids there and they're partying all the time.
Sure.
You slowly move up. I mean, Hugh Hefner lived in the first H for years.
I think that says a lot. So you said you live in Hollywood. Very liberal place, but you still have people who won't wear masks?
Yeah, we were in Ventura Boulevard the other day, and now that all the restaurants have sidewalk seating, and there are people sitting there without masks. And I guess if you're with 4 people you've been quarantining with, it's okay. What I don't understand is if people would just do it, just wear the mask and limit your activities. 6 weeks, we'd start to arrest the growth of it here. It's exploding here in California.
No, you're absolutely right, and that is a scientific fact. With all that we don't know, you cannot argue this. And I heard this the other day, and it's been backed up by Dr. Fauci and other people. If 60% of us, you would think it'd be higher, but if 60% of us would commit to wearing an actual face covering, 60% of the time we could be out of this in 6 weeks. And you're thinking, oh, those sixes all work out well, don't they? But that's just a way to show you how easy it could be. And you've got dipshits from sea to shining sea. You're going, not me. You're not telling me what to do.
And then every day there's a new story of people going, "Yep, I didn't believe it, and then I got the COVID, so
Sure.
you should wear a mask."
Sure. Sure. Chuck Woolery.
You know what? I'm at the point. Don't even get me started with Chuck Woolery. He made all of us ex-dating show hosts look so bad.
Yes.
That was perfect. Shooting off his mouth, and then 2 days later, he announces that his poor son has it. But you know what? Here's the problem. With the people that don't believe it at this point, you can't use logic to convince them of anything because they're too ignorant to understand logic. And the president has, and I use that with a small p, in two ways, has injected so much politics in this. It makes no sense. I wake up every day thanking God that Donald Trump is as stupid as he is, because if he was smarter, he could really be inflicting long-term damage. If he was smart,
you would actually have a Simon Bar Sinister. You'd have you'd have someone who is evil with a functioning brain who could really do exponentially more damage than he's already done.
That would really be bad, Tennessee. Yes.
All right, now before we leave game show territory, because I mentioned Chuck Woolery.
I haven't heard Simon Bar Sinister.
How about that reference?
Such a great villain
with
a weird head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, careful. So
big, huge forehead on that guy.
Yes, careful. So remind everybody about the great game show you hosted in the early 90s.
It was a dating show called Studs, and it was on Fox late night for 600 episodes.
And so good, by the way, that 20 years later, you were hired to play a game show host on an insurance commercial, which ran most of last year. For what company?
Yeah. That was for the good folks at Progressive, Steve.
Yeah, there you go.
Progressive.
And Flo was a big winner, but we know she cheated. Second game show scandal. All right, so my point is, Chuck Woolery goes off the deep end. Do you and Wink Martindale and Bob and the others and the ghost of Gene Rayburn, do y'all get together and do an intervention with Chuck Woolery and slap him around a little? How does that work?
Well, we have our Tuesday lunches at the Elks Club, and the next week he came in and no one would have Jell-O with him. He just sat by himself, rubbing his blue emu all over his body and had his lunch.
Right.
First of all, how presumptuous. Who gives a shit what Chuck Woolery thinks about politics?
Donald Trump, because he retweeted him.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, every day there's more people that didn't believe it and they get sick and they believe it.
And the other thing that's really frustrating about this, because as you know, I am agnostic when it comes to politics. I don't believe the right or the left have great ideas. And there's truth on both sides, and you got to look to both sides to find the truth and support the people that are actually doing it. But here's the thing that makes me also a little crazier is the notion that this is all made up. This is all made up to get Trump. And I know you're not going to change people who are crazy enough to believe that. But who in their right mind doesn't go to the next level of that equation and go, well, I guess that would mean that the 155,000 people that have died are all they're all Republicans because it's a Democrat conspiracy. Yeah, that's what the virus thinks. The virus screens for party affiliation first. It's just insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The virus has been taught to screen for party affiliation and whether you're a Cubs fan or a Sox fan. It's a very evolved, evolved virus.
Those are the two breaks. By the way, baseball, are they going to keep this season going? There's no bigger baseball fan than you, no bigger Cub fan than you. Are they going to keep this baseball season going? You can't. I mean, you can't suddenly shut teams down and go, we're still going to play to see who's standing.
Well, from what I've read, the Cardinals and the Marlins players that got sick did it because they went off the reservation and they were partying at night. And I think what has to happen inside of MLB is the other players have to police themselves, because those guys that had to go out to that bar or whatever, wherever it was, jeopardized the future of the whole league.
Right.
And, Steven Souza Jr. is on a 1-year deal, and he's having a good year. If the season shuts down, you're literally harming his ability to make a living. And, of course, the Cubs are in first place. So if, every Cub fan now is hunkering down waiting for them to call the season. But I'm enjoying that. Hockey is back.
Hockey is back, and the Blackhawks are, as of when we're recording this, in a 1-1 with Edmonton in a best-of-5 in this crazy thing, this tournament, which goes on only in Edmonton and Toronto to determine the Stanley Cup winner for last year and this year. before they start next year, not in October, but probably in January. You following it yet?
Yeah, but you know what? It may be the greatest hockey Stanley Cup playoff in history because everyone's rested and healthy. And in the first game, the Hawks looked amazing. In the second game, they looked horrible, and Edmonton crushed them. So I think it's excellent hockey, and the way they're photographing it is different too. They have a couple of new jib cams in there, and I really feel like it feels like you're on the ice with them. So you know what? Gino's East just opened up here in California, and that's the only place that we've eaten outside of the house since this whole thing started. And I was in there last week picking up a pizza to take home, and I looked. Bars are on, the TVs are on in the bar, and ESPN was showing live coverage of beanbags.
Yeah.
That's what's on TV for sports right now.
Right.
So thank God that baseball and hockey are back.
Yeah, they had a weekend where they were finally making fun of themselves, where they showed all the fringe sports they could possibly show, one of which was the Mackinac Island Stone Skipping Championships, where you had about 8 people on the beach. 4 of them were for a crew with cameras. You had 2 guys actually calling it like it was a serious sports event. And you had these guys trying to skip stones as many times as possible there at Mackinac Island. And you think the end of civilization isn't here? Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then comedy itself. Comedy is, everything you say offends somebody, and it's just the whole happy-go-lucky world which I've built over my career is crumbling around me, and all I have to succor myself is hockey and baseball. And your show.
The sensitivity of people, it's hard not to just lose your mind over it, because there is no more move on.
Here's my analysis of this. It used to be back in show business when you and I started. To be successful, you had to have talent, and you had to actually do something that would entertain people for a few minutes.
Yep.
Now, the entire entertainment ecosystem is about attention, not entertainment. So it's yelling and screaming and big headlines.
Right.
Watch Fox News with the sound down, and all you see are splashes of red, and it's like the police are coming to get you all the time.
That's an interesting experiment. I've never done that.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Well, not right now. I mean, we're in the middle of this. This is live.
No, do it. I'll wait. No, so how do you tell jokes, and how are you funny in the context of no one's going to listen for 15 seconds to hear a joke play out? All they're looking for is getting hit in the nuts with a ball.
Yeah,
it's still funny.
You're right. It's turned into, if it's not suitable for funniest home videos, where every other video has to be you got hit in the nuts with a ball, it's not funny. Yeah, you're right. That's the standard now.
And it's no fun. I'm hoping that it's a passing thing and people will calm down. I mean, it's an extraordinary, stressful time for everybody. And I had a niece and a nephew this year that graduated, one from high school, one from college. What? Nothing.
Yeah.
We had a party in the backyard with 4 people. Yeah, it's sad. I feel bad for all those kids.
And having said all of that, you do have to say that if you had told me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, but if you had told me last December, okay, by April of next year, 2020, the entire country is going to be on lockdown, the economy is going to be in a complete shutdown, and we're all going to somehow make it work with bumps in the road, I would have said, you're out of your mind. We'd have riots in the street, civil war. So I do have to say, not just here, but around the world, and I don't know if it's because it's a slow-moving disaster, but around the world, people have reacted to this in a much more human way than I thought we would.
Well, and I've noticed that as well, is that it seems like the behavior I run into with people out on the street, some people are crankier and refuse to wear their masks, and they're just looking for a fight, the liberal. But it seems like more people are a little extra nice and a little extra sensitive to people around them.
How has it changed production in Hollywood? Are shows back up now? I saw something hilarious yesterday, the day before, a soap opera, because I have that kind of time now. I think it was Bold and the Beautiful, and I only cried once. but they're social distance acting, and some of these folks are not the best actors on the planet. But I could be in a hospital bed saying, "I just wanted to say goodbye." Pause, and then your reaction, which is also a one shot in a completely different room, is, "No, don't leave me." I mean, they're doing the best they can, but it's just really hard to do that and make it work.
Yeah, actually, the physical production is still pretty much shut down. Any kind of shows that are coming back have to add. They're adding like 30% of the production period for each episode is 30% longer because the crews are smaller and blah blah blah. But animation is thriving right now. I started a new animation show in May, and you can do it in a socially distant, COVID-free way.
Sure.
So a lot of people are looking towards animation to kind of get us through this hump, because at some point the cupboards are going to be bare and there's going to be no new shows for people to see. And with the kind of animation that we're doing, it's something that you can do regardless of what the situation out in the world is.
Is that with your partner, the bear?
Boffo the Bear. Yeah. It's a YouTube channel, and it's the first live cartoon to ever host a show in history anywhere.
Right.
So we were doing live shows on Facebook every week. Now we're on YouTube and Facebook, but mostly YouTube. And we do celebrity interviews. We do Boffo out in the street, driving around in the car. And it's funny. It's there's a big blue bear going through the In-N-Out drive-through, ordering people around. People seem to be tickled by it, and it's kept me sane.
Well, what I like about it is he's cute and adorable, but he's slightly less classy than Buddy Hackett's act.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I make another reference for folks only over 55, let me know. But it's a punch in your face kind of show, wrapped up in a charming blue bear. It's very entertaining.
Thank you. And you were on the episode. You were on an episode, and you were very hilarious.
Thank you.
Would like to have you back on.
Yeah.
And we also take phone calls. I mean, it's a really fun experiment, and people look at the bear and think he's going to be this cute, cuddly kitty character, and he's anything but. And I enjoy that kind of irascible tone, and it's been perfect for what's going on right now. I can produce it in the house here with a minimal crew, and everyone's safe and healthy, and hilarious.
Who I would love to have Boffo interview? Jiminy Glick. Who? Martin Short's talk show guy, Jiminy Glick. Boffo and Jiminy Glick together would be fantastic.
Well, it's the same bit, really, except I have a more...
Not so much. The difference would be he's an overweight, high cholesterol human talk show host, and your guy is a blue animated bear. So they're not really the same. That's all I'm saying.
He's really hilarious. Have you watched Schitt's Creek? Have you watched that whole season?
Yeah. I watched the whole series, and you put those people together, those kooky Canadians, you can't lose.
I would watch Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara have a staring contest.
Yeah.
Because it would be hilarious.
Yeah, 100%. And they both got to be closer to 70, aren't they?
Probably, yeah. I mean, SCTV was late 70s, right?
I think
Early
so.
80s?
Yeah. So the nursing home has never been funnier, kids, because...
I know that Gene Levy's, he's had an eyebrow transplant, because those eyebrows aren't original. I think those are aftermarket on him.
I looked at him and I said, looks like he's had some work done. And you got a movie coming out. Now, how did you shoot this? This had to be pre-March, right?
Oh, yeah. We shot it late last summer in Sacramento. It's called Ballbuster, and it stars Jerry O'Connell as a basketball player who gets in trouble with the law, and as a punishment, he has to play with this barnstorming charity team for a month to be readmitted to the professional league. And it's all about the crazy, stupid stuff this self-absorbed guy does until he realizes that maybe there's a better way to live life. But I'm sure you've had him on the show. He's hilarious.
He's a funny dude, and I'd love to have him back on. It's been a long time. Hint on the But does he have any game? Can he play ball?
Yeah. He actually can. I mean, there wasn't. I play his father in the movie, and he's 7 years younger than me. But they put makeup on me and they gray me up, and we had a couple scenes in the basketball arena. One of them where he's hanging from a rope underneath the sign. But yeah, he plays pretty good, and he's taller than you think.
Well, but here's the thing, because you know this, because you are like me, you're a superior athlete. But the biggest problem with sports movies is if the star of said movie can't replicate a believable swing or a believable shot, that kind of thing.
Right.
And in this case, you're telling me he could pull it off.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. He's very fluid, looks really good playing ball, and he's hilariously funny. And
a good dude, right?
Ridiculously good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice guy. The movie comes out on the 11th on iTunes and Vudu and basically all the on-demand digital channels.
Well, you tell him you got a friend that does a podcast that you think would really turn his life around if he did it, and we'll go from there.
I absolutely will.
So
actually, I think we're going to be doing some interviews together. So I will call the powers that be with the film today and tell them that Clark Weber's got a great show that Jerry can be on.
We're already plugging it here on what is it? The Colette Weber show? Is that what you called it?
Clark Weber.
Oh,
remember,
Clark
he was
Weber.
big.
Clark passed this year. Was it?
I know.
Late last year. Oh God.
Late last year. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. So you sound busier than ever, and I don't know how that's possible while you're locked in your home, but that's a good thing.
And actually, the Bob of the Bear show has been keeping me very, very busy, but that's good. If I was just waiting for the phone to ring, I'd be single and living under a bridge. So it's kept me occupied. And now the baseball, my two favorite sports, are playing at the same time. It's never been like this before. Fantastic. So I'm trying to focus on that. At the end of every day, I spend 3 hours watching sports on TV, and it's delicious.
Well, it gives your wife a chance to date, so that's good.
Right.
That you're taking the time.
Exactly.
But
get out of the house.
Did you ever think you'd see hockey in August? Because I'm going to be honest with you, and I didn't think we would.
No, but I think the NHL is doing it the best, creating the bubble.
Yep.
Where they can live normal lives, without their families and such, but they're living normal hangout lives inside the bubble, and then they get to play the game as hard as they want. And the virus is not going to go to Edmonton. The virus is in Southern California and Kentucky and places like that. The virus doesn't want to go to Edmonton.
No, I was at a convenience store in Edmonton. A lady told me that, and I didn't doubt her. Please. Well, it's my friend Mark Decarlo, one of America's finest people, not just a major Hollywood star, but a damn fine human being. And one thing you didn't tell me is how your family in Chicago's doing and your friends. I mean, has everybody stayed healthy?
Everybody, we've been very, very, very lucky. My wife Yenny's family, everyone's good. Our family is good. My aunts in Chicago have been locked in their apartment out in Elmhurst since this began, and we check in with them all the time. They're doing well. No one in our immediate circle of friends has had any really bad stories to tell. So we're waiting out like everybody else.
All right. Now, before I actually say goodbye to you, you're a marketing genius. This podcast, Live from my office, is new. We got a great response out of the gate, but of course we have to market and promote and continue to blow it up bigger than ever. So I too feel like I need a way to close it, like to close each episode, like Walter Cronkite every night. That's the way it is. I need something at the end, and I've only got a couple. Tell me what you think of these. I'm Steve Cochran, and does this look infected? That's one. I'm Steve Cochran.
That's more for a video show, I think.
Oh, all right. Then what about this? I'm Steve Cochran. Does anybody know what I did with my keys? Because I think that appeals to an older...
No, but you're locked in the room. It doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere.
All right. Well, give me a slogan. Give me a potential slogan that I could use. A sign off, if you will.
These seem like they're 7-8 hours long. How long are the programs actually?
Generally they're about 45 minutes.
Okay, 45. I'm Steve Cochran, and you just wasted an hour.
Wait, you got something here. I'm Steve Cochran, and but imagine this could have been longer. Yeah, there's something there
Right,
that can
right.
work with us. Yeah.
I'm signing off at 45 to give you 15 more minutes. But when you say, it could have been worse, say it in italics so they know you're being funny. Because sometimes it's not obvious. When
How
you're
about
being funny,
I'm Steve Cochran, and like you, I regret the choices I've made as well. Because then it's not a direct insult on me, but it gives them an opportunity to go, yeah, loser. All right, maybe that's not the one.
Right, you want them talking back.
It's my friend Mark Decarlo. Where do we follow you on social media? Where do we get Boffo? How do we know what you're doing?
Follow Boffo the Bear on Instagram at Boffo the Bear and on YouTube. And you can follow, and on Twitter too, for just Boffo the Bear. And that's how you get him everywhere. And then I'm Mark Decarlo on Twitter and Instagram and, all the other social channels.
BOFF, two Fs.
BOFFO, the Bear.
Yep.
And Ballbuster comes out the 11th of what's this month?
This will be August, 11th of September?
I'm not kidding you. No, the 11th of August. I haven't worn long pants and a belt for 3 months. I'm not kidding.
I don't doubt it.
It's a big day if I wear long pajamas instead of short pajamas.
Well, I'm gonna ring the bell and get your Jell-O in here as fast as I possibly can. All right, buddy. I love you. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for being on Live from My Office.
Steve, it's a pleasure. Continued success. You're the best thing on audio podcast and formerly radio. They don't know what they've missed.
Wow, that was fast. I mean, when you're having a good time, right? Time flies. We should whip that into a cliche. I hope you enjoyed this exciting episode of Live from My Office. Tell your friends, subscribe. And by the way, follow me on Twitter at Cochran Show. We're doing something there as we're well inside 100 days to the election. It's called the Trump Dump, where each day as we approach November 3rd, and remember, you got to vote. Each day as we run up to November 3rd, Election Day, I will give you another fact, a historical fact of something Trump did or said during his first 4 years in office. Check that out on Twitter at Cochran Show, the Trump Dump. And the website, of course, is cochranshow.com. Stay safe, stay healthy, wear your mask, 6 feet, please, from everybody until further notice, and we're all going to be okay. This is Steve Cochran. Thanks again for listening to Live from My Office.
Live from My Office is a product of Monkey Run Productions. All rights reserved. Live from My Office is mixed, edited, and produced by me, Ross Cochran, and hosted by Steve Cochran. Let us know what you think about a specific episode by leaving a comment wherever you're listening, or you can email questions and comments to thecochranshow@gmail.com. Steve is available for your corporate speaking gigs. You would love to host or MC your event, and occasionally, he's funny. Thank you for listening. Head to cochranshow.com for more.